Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition. January 21st, 2025 featuring crypto. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition. January 21st, 2025 featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from January 10th to January 16th, 2025. APT. Collaboration between Rose and Bruno Mars titled Die With a Smile. DTMF. Song by Bad Bunny. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from Friday, January 10th to Thursday, January 16th, 2025. DTMF by Bad Bunny. Die With a Smile featuring Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, APT. By Rose and Bruno Mars and Bail Inolvidable by Bad Bunny. Nintendo US digital top sellers starting January 20th, 2025. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Minecraft, Stardew Valley. Steam's most popular games. Highlighting the globally top-selling and most played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, January 7th, 2025, to Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds, Path of Exile 2, Dota 2. CISA's Cybersecurity Alerts and Advisories. CISA has issued the Cybersecurity Performance Goals Adoption Report. Novasky AI Sky, T1-32B, Preview. This is a 32B reasoning model that has been trained using Qwen 2.5-32B. Instruct with a dataset of 17,000 items. Its performance matches that of the O1 Preview model in both mathematics and coding. The development was carried out by the Novasky team, which is part of the Sky Computing Lab at UC Berkeley. Russia claims that Democratic presidents, first Obama and then Biden, intentionally damaged U.S.-Russia relations in anticipation of Trump's return. Meanwhile, officials reported that the damage to the Baltic Sea cable was likely due to accidents rather than Russian interference, according to the Washington Post. Additionally, Trump plans to temporarily revoke the security clearances of 51 intelligence officials who inaccurately suggested that Hunter Biden's laptop was a Russian fabrication. Serbian leader cautions about a foreign-supported color revolution. CPJ notes that, in an unprecedented year, China, Israel, and Myanmar are the top jailers of journalists globally. X, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube commit to an EU initiative to address hate speech. VTB Bank will be the first Russian financial institution to establish a branch in Iran. The volume of trade between Afghanistan and Iran rose by 84% in the previous year. Russia and Iran have concluded the route for their gas pipeline through Azerbaijan, with price negotiations nearing completion. In the United States, Donald Trump is set to be sworn in as the 47th president. Russian President Vladimir Putin extends his congratulations to Trump prior to his inauguration, expressing willingness to engage in discussions regarding Ukraine and nuclear weapons. China's vice president holds meetings with Elon Musk and J.D. Vance in anticipation of Trump's inauguration. India urges Russia to bring back its citizens after reports of 12 fatalities and 16 missing in battle. Ukraine's commander-in-chief, Syrskyi, claims Russian ammunition has been reduced by half due to Ukrainian strikes. With Trump's inauguration, Macron cautions Europe against relying solely on American weapons. Ramaswamy's position at DOGE is uncertain as he plans to reveal his candidacy for Ohio governor, while numerous lawsuits challenge the newly established Department of Government Efficiency as Trump takes office. Nancy Pelosi has revealed her husband's latest investment portfolio, which includes $2.9 million in shares from Apple, Disney, PayPal, and Amex. Melania Trump introduces a meme coin amid concerns over crypto disputes from experts. Telegram malware scams surge dramatically, increasing by 2,000%, posing a fresh threat to cryptocurrency investors. Meanwhile, HP initiates an investigation following a hacker's assertion of a data breach. Additionally, authors are requesting Meta's logs and seeding data related to its torrent client as part of an AI piracy investigation. TikTok resumes operations following Trump's promise to postpone the ban, while China indicates willingness to negotiate a deal to maintain TikTok's presence in the U.S. Canon introduces a new application that enables live streaming from various cameras, excluding Canon's own. It is said that Instagram is attempting to attract TikTok creators by offering substantial financial incentives. Independent receives financial support from the Bill Gates Foundation. In Saudi Arabia, Kingdom Holding announces the restart of construction on the Jeddah Tower, which will be 1,000 meters tall. Officials in France alert the public about the influx of Viagra-infused erectile honey. Alleged 9/11 mastermind consents to the use of a contested confession for a life sentence. The UN chief announces that 630 aid trucks entered Gaza on the initial day of the ceasefire. Hamas provides hostages with goodie bags containing signed certificates of captivity. Trump plans to execute over 200 executive actions on his first day in office. According to Axios, Americans generally support deporting undocumented immigrants, but their opinions shift when asked specific questions. National Guard troops reportedly express concern that Trump might use them for mass deportations. HuffPost describes Biden's legacy as saving America from COVID and then being succeeded by a criminal. The infamous pirate IPTV service Magus TV is seeking a U.S. trademark and undergoing a rebranding process. Experts warn that a salon hair wash can pose significant health risks. Research indicates that urination in chimpanzees can be contagious. A doorbell camera has recorded the first-ever video of both the sound and sight of a meteorite crash landing. A novel device has been created to capture green ammonia directly from the atmosphere, serving as a potential fuel or fertilizer source. MIT has declared that rapid control techniques achieve unprecedented precision in superconducting qubits. Biden issues preemptive pardons for Milley, Fauci, and January 6 committee members. Trump grants sweeping pardon of January 6 defendants, including rioters who violently attacked police. Trump promises to bring back troops booted for refusing COVID vaccine. Landslides and flash floods on Java Island, Indonesia, result in 16 fatalities and 9 individuals missing. Trump declares a second withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement and plans to announce a national energy emergency, terminating Biden's electric vehicle mandate. Researchers discover that Tesla's brand value decreased by $15 billion in 2024 due to an aging product lineup and Elon Musk's leadership. Cecile Richards, a leading abortion advocate and former president of Planned Parenthood, passed away at the age of 67 on the day of Donald Trump's inauguration. The ACLU has filed a lawsuit against Trump's executive order intended to terminate birthright citizenship, following his announcement to end this right for children born to undocumented immigrants. Trump has directed the United States to withdraw from the World Health Organization. Melania Trump asserts that the Obamas created difficulties during the transition to her husband's first presidency. In the last moments of his office, Biden pardons 5 members of his family. Trump promises a new era of national success and declares that America's decline is over in his inaugural address. Doom has been adapted into a standalone Microsoft Word document, which reportedly functions well although it lacks sound. 6 days prior, it was reported that Doom could also run directly from a PDF file, known as Doom PDF, achieving a frame rate of approximately 12.5 FPS. The director of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 hints at future developments involving Metal Sonic and Amy Rose in Sonic 4. A gaming analyst expresses optimism that the industry might see Grand Theft Auto 6 priced at $100. Researchers create a celestial navigation system to serve as a GPS alternative for drones. U.S. safety regulators broaden their investigation into Ford's hands-free driving technology. The FIA announces the confirmed debut date for Lewis Hamilton with Ferrari, marking the beginning of Hamilton's Ferrari career with a visit to the HQ and a test. EU intends to prohibit forever chemicals in consumer goods. Women who participated in sports have a higher probability of becoming business leaders. A recent study by TikTok suggests that the use of short videos is associated with reduced academic performance in children. Ravensburger reveals upcoming Disney villainous games and global tournaments. KPMG is nearing the establishment of a U.S. law firm, marking a first for the Big Four. Apple CFO refutes claims of a 75% margin on its App Store. The Pentagon indicates that artificial intelligence is accelerating its process of targeting and engaging threats, known as the kill chain. An editor of The Brutalist faces criticism for using AI in creating dialogue and designing buildings, yet argues that this approach is not unprecedented. Former President Trump annuls a previous executive order by President Biden aimed at mitigating the risks associated with artificial intelligence. The Trump administration has terminated several immigration court officials, marking the start of a crackdown. Trump has signed extensive executive actions on immigration, initiating efforts to abolish birthright citizenship. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump will present his trade vision but will not introduce new tariffs at this time. Meanwhile, Bloomberg reports that Trump intends to implement a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada by February 1st. Mystery mounds on Mars show the history of water, with erosion as large as the UK. Mountains on neutron stars might be detected using gravitational waves, as these mountains would create ripples in spacetime. An AI model created for protein design simulates 500 million years of protein evolution to develop a new fluorescent protein. Trump issues an executive order temporarily halting the TikTok ban and granting immunity to technology companies. Additionally, Trump instructs the government to refrain from infringing on American speech and initiates an investigation into censorship. Apple faces a Belgian investigation regarding blood minerals sourced from the Congo. Meta plans to employ fact-checkers outside the United States temporarily. Trump says he will quickly release JFK, Robert Kennedy, MLK assassination files. Trump's presidency will set off a new right-wing surge in Europe, Hungary's PM Orbán says, and Trump's presidency will set off a new right-wing surge in Europe, PM Orbán says. Reuters reports that German ambassador warns of Trump plan to redefine constitutional order. Document shows.
Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition. January 19th, 2025, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from January 3rd to January 9th, 2025. APT, featuring Rose and Bruno Mars. Die with a Smile collaboration between Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. AAJK rap by Madhubandi Bagshi with Divya. Peelings by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify weekly top songs global, spanning from the Friday, January 3rd to the Thursday, January 9th, 2025. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. APT. By Rose and Bruno Mars, That's So True by Gracie Abrams, and Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. Nintendo US digital top sellers starting January 13th, 2025. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Minecraft, Nintendo Switch Sports, Stardew Valley, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 31st, 2024, to Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, PUBG Battlegrounds, Path of Exile 2, Marvel Rivals, Dota 2, Helldivers 2, Elden Ring. CISA's Cybersecurity Alerts and Advisories. CISA has issued the Cybersecurity Performance Goals Adoption Report. NovaSky AI's Sky T1-32B Preview. This is a 32B reasoning model that has been trained using Qwen 2.5-32B. Instruct with a dataset of 17,000 items. Its performance matches that of the O1 preview model in both mathematics and coding. The development was carried out by the NovaSky team, which is part of the Sky Computing Lab at UC Berkeley. U.S. debt increases significantly as the deficit reaches $1.9 trillion this year, according to Congress's Budget Office. The IMF upgrades the U.S. economic forecast while Canada and Europe lag behind. The United States initiates maneuvers to prevent breaching the debt limit, exerting pressure on Congress, as the U.S. Treasury plans to implement measures to avoid a debt limit breach on Tuesday. TikTok banned to go ahead unless it's sold by Chinese parent company, after U.S. Supreme Court upholds law. Trump says he had good call with China Xi about TikTok and trade. Bill Gates impressed with Trump's interest in global health during 3-hour dinner. Meta to break up civil rights team. Biden commutes sentences for nearly 2,500 individuals convicted of nonviolent drug offenses, setting a record. Additionally, Biden declares the Equal Rights Amendment passed, but does not mandate certification. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is reportedly preparing to arrest illegal immigrants nationwide on day one, with Chicago as the starting point for Trump's deportation plan. Lastly, an appeals court overturns an Obama-era policy intended to protect immigrants who arrived in the U.S. as children. The European Union intensifies its investigation into Elon Musk's platform, X, focusing on content moderation and requesting an examination of X's recommendation algorithms. Former European leaders advocate for the division of Google's ad technology. The New York Times reveals that a Trump oligarchy is relocating to Washington and acquiring prestigious addresses. FTC files lawsuit against PepsiCo for manipulating soft drink competition, alleging price discrimination that benefited Walmart over smaller retailers. Vanguard announces a $106 million settlement with the SEC regarding misleading TDF disclosures. American Express consents to a payment exceeding $138 million to conclude a wire fraud investigation linked to the sales and marketing of wire products. Progresso's Soup You Can Suck introduces a new soup candy for enjoying your favorite soup while on the move. Magnesium supplementation leads to improved cognitive performance following defecation in triathletes. A study reveals that Homo erectus thrived in desert environments, indicating early humans' ability to adapt to extreme conditions. Research suggests that Mars's hemispheres are shaped by mantle convection rather than giant impacts. Character AI, an AI startup, evaluates web games and has implemented restrictions to prevent minors from engaging with bots modeled after real individuals and fandom characters. Microsoft has acknowledged the challenges in securing AI after testing its products in Redmond. A hacker gained unauthorized access to the Path of Exile 2 administrator account, resulting in the hijacking of a series of characters. Google starts mandating JavaScript for its search engine. ByteDance, a Chinese company, officially halts services for its apps TikTok, CapCut, and Lemon 8, removing them from app stores shortly before the U.S. ban on January 19. Marvel Snap faces a ban similar to TikTok's. Perplexity AI attempts to merge with TikTok in the U.S. Trump introduces a meme coin, reportedly earning over $25 billion in a single night, with Coinbase and Binance planning to list his official Trump token following its extraordinary launch. Cryptocurrency companies invest millions in Trump's inauguration, and Coinbase supports a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Trump intends to implement 5 cryptocurrency changes immediately through executive order, aiming to make cryptocurrency a national priority, according to sources. OpenAI has developed an AI model for longevity research, collaborating with Retro Biosciences to design stem cell proteins using AI. Meanwhile, Colossal Biosciences has secured $200 million at a $10.2 billion valuation to resurrect woolly mammoths. Additionally, Ray Kurzweil predicted that by the 2030s, nanobots in our brains will elevate us to a godlike state. The 3 largest insurers earned $7.3 billion from the markups of their drug intermediaries, according to the FTC. In Iran, 2 judges associated with mass executions in 1988 were killed. It is reported that Japan's elderly face loneliness and hardship, with some women opting for imprisonment. This year, 68,000 individuals over 65 are expected to die alone at home in Japan. A massive lithium-ion plant in California has been engulfed in flames. Meanwhile, China has introduced a compact and affordable nuclear battery for everyday use, with the Betavolt BV100 3V model designed to provide 100 microwatts for more than 50 years. Additionally, Keir Starmer is emphasizing his connection with Donald Trump as he pursues a trade agreement between the US and UK, a move noted by The Telegraph as Starmer seeking Trump's support to stimulate economic growth. Digital Currency Group agrees to pay $38 million to settle with SEC over negligence. In the U.S., Genshin Impact game developer will be banned from selling loot boxes to teens under 16 without parental consent. Pay a $20 million fine to settle FTC charges. Justice Department files nationwide lawsuit alleging Walgreens knowingly filled millions of prescriptions that lacked a legitimate medical purpose. Ukraine's armed forces have reached a strength of 880,000 personnel, according to Zelensky, as they confront 600,000 Russian soldiers. Russia has declared its intention to oppose any collaboration between the UK and Ukraine in the Sea of Azov. Putin has expressed enthusiasm about potential new nuclear initiatives with Iran. FTC instructs GoDaddy to rectify inadequate web hosting security measures. Microsoft OpenAI collaboration prompts antitrust worries, according to FTC. Noam advocates reducing CISA, claiming the cyber agency has deviated significantly from its original mission. Japan government initiates compensation process for victims of forced sterilization. In the UK, Jersey residents advised to undergo bloodletting due to PFAS contamination. China reveals a comprehensive plan from 2024 to 2035, aimed at establishing a robust education nation. A Wall Street Journal poll indicates that voters are seeking a more moderate version of MAGA policies from Trump. The Telegraph notes that, except in Starmer's Britain, the left is currently less popular than at any point since the Cold War. Argentina has recorded its first budget surplus in 14 years under Milei's leadership. Vitalik Buterin outlines significant shifts in Ethereum Foundation leadership following demands for fresh leadership. Foxconn, Apple's partner, reveals plans to deploy humanoids in iPhone manufacturing facilities. China's Comac, the C919 jet manufacturer, targets flights in Southeast Asia by 2026, while Comac, the Chinese aircraft firm, aspires to double the production of C919 passenger planes this year. Ex-CIA analyst admits to leaking classified documents about Israel. Qatar announces that a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas will commence at 8:30 a.m. on Sunday. Saudi Arabia considers recognizing Israel as Trump returns, and a Gaza ceasefire is discussed. Kennedy attempted to halt COVID vaccinations 6 months following their introduction. In the United States, Moderna received $590 million from the HHS to expedite the development of an mRNA-based bird flu vaccine. Ozempic, Wegovy, and other medications are included in the 15 chosen for Medicare's price negotiations. Greta Gerwig's Narnia secures an exclusive IMAX run in a significant agreement before its Netflix debut. Coldplay's concert at an Indian stadium will be live-streamed on Disney Plus Hotstar. Paramount Plus has canceled Frasier after 2 seasons, and CBS Studios will seek a new home for the revival. Russian coal exports have significantly decreased, reaching a 6-year low, primarily because of sanctions and issues with Russian railways. Nigeria has been officially recognized as a partner country within the BRICS bloc. China plans to enhance a $60 billion railway in Turkey to facilitate the transportation of goods to the EU, thereby avoiding routes through Russia. Bob Dylan's drafts for Mr. Tambourine Man fetch over £400,000. A new book discloses that Frankenstein was influenced by the suicide of Mary Shelley's half-sister. Calder Gardens, Philadelphia's latest art museum, will debut on the Ben Franklin Parkway in September. Get your daily news fix with NewsSourceScrawler's latest edition, January 17, 2025, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from January 3 to January 9, 2025. APT featuring Rose and Bruno Mars. Die with a Smile collaboration between Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. AJ Key rap by Madhu Banti Bakshi with Divya. Peelings by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from the Friday, January 3 to the Thursday, January 9, 2025. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. APT. By Rose and Bruno Mars, That's So True by Gracie Abrams, and Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. Nintendo US Digital Top Seller starting January 13, 2025. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Minecraft, Nintendo Switch Sports, Stardew Valley, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, For the period from Tuesday, December 31, 2024, to Tuesday, January 7, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, PUBG Battlegrounds, Path of Exile 2, Marvel Rivals, Dota 2, Helldivers 2, Elden Ring. CISA's Cybersecurity Alerts and Advisories. CISA has issued the Cybersecurity Performance Goals Adoption Report. NovaSky AI Sky 1-32B Preview. This is a 32B reasoning model that has been trained using Qwen 2.5-32B, instruct with a dataset of 17,000 items. Its performance matches that of the O1 preview model in both mathematics and coding. The development was carried out by the NovaSky team, which is part of the Sky Computing Lab at UC Berkeley. The Associated Press is providing a real-time information feed to improve the results shown in the Gemini app. LinkedIn is introducing complementary AI tools for both job seekers and recruiters. In the United States, OpenAI will financially support the establishment of 4 new Axios local newsrooms. U.S. FTC takes legal action against Deere for limiting equipment repair options. Gallup finds that Americans incorporate AI into daily products without being aware of it. A humanoid robot acquires the ability to waltz by imitating human movements. China's regional authorities increase minimum wages to stimulate spending. Hindenburg Research, the contentious short-selling firm that focused on Adani, experiences a collapse. Profits at U.S. banks grow as Wall Street anticipates a surge in mergers. The United States has introduced new regulations to limit the export of sophisticated semiconductor chips to China. Additionally, the Netherlands has agreed to comply with U.S. export restrictions on certain ASML chip manufacturing tools. Furthermore, the U.S. is implementing new export controls on biotechnology equipment due to concerns about China. Microsoft will cease support for Office applications on Windows 10 as of October 14. The individual behind Gas and TBH has developed an application for vanishing photos through iMessage. It is said that Nintendo had to overhaul the entire game to release Animal Crossing in the Western market. Google informs EU that fact-checking is not suitable, declining to implement fact-checks despite new EU regulation. The FBI disbanded its DEI office in December, according to the agency. MIT discontinued its internal grant database after it was utilized to investigate the school's relationships with Israel. Aramco Ma'aden JV plans lithium mining in Saudi Arabia, with Aramco's lithium project showing promise but not yet operational, according to the minister. In the U.S., Hino Toyota's truck division is set to pay $1.6 billion due to an emissions scandal. Additionally, the burning of Teslas contributes to a toxic pollution mix, delaying the return to Los Angeles. Survey reports that more than half of Netflix, Disney Plus, Max subscribers don't see advertising. Conan O'Brien to receive Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. Regal Simworld Inc.'s deal with Barco to bring 4,000 new laser projectors to cinemas by 2030. Drake has filed a lawsuit against his record label, claiming that Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us, contains defamatory content. Meanwhile, Temasek is reportedly considering Blackstone's $4 billion sale of Bob Dylan and Adele's song rights. Additionally, Telegram has closed channels associated with Z Library and Anna's Archive due to copyright infringement issues. U.S. TikTok refugees migrate to another Chinese app as ban looms, and Goodbye to My Chinese Spy might be the last great TikTok trend. Semaphore comments as TikTok crisis builds unlikely cyberspace bridge between U.S. and China. Biden administration looks for ways to keep TikTok available in the U.S., and Trump considers suspending TikTok ban enforcement for 60 to 90 days, Washington Post reports. Douyin cracks down on fake foreign accounts amid wave of TikTok refugees, and Duolingo sees 216% spike in U.S. users learning Chinese amid TikTok ban and move to Red Note. In the United States, the FDA plans to withdraw approval for Red No. 3 in food and ingested medications. Research indicates that intermittent fasting offers 2 significant advantages for individuals with obesity. A targeted mRNA therapy addresses a fatal pregnancy condition in mice, utilizing a lipid nanoparticle to deliver an mRNA solution for preeclampsia. UK leader Starmer signs 100-year partnership agreement with Ukraine during trip to Kiev, and Keir Starmer says UK will play full part in guaranteeing Ukrainian security. Designation of cartels as terrorist organizations fuels tension between Mexico and the U.S. ahead of Trump's inauguration, as Trump team resurfaces plans to designate Mexican cartels as terror organizations. Israeli attacks kill at least 80 in Gaza after ceasefire deal announced. Russia plotted terror attacks on airlines around the world, Poland's Tusk says. Trump advisors concede Ukraine peace deal is months away. U.S. sanctions Chinese and Kyrgyz firms supporting Russia's war in Ukraine. Netanyahu expresses gratitude to Trump and Biden for their assistance in the Gaza hostage agreement, as reported by the Israel Prime Minister's office. Both Trump and Biden assert their roles in the Gaza ceasefire agreement, with Biden mentioning that Americans will be included among the hostages released and humorously declining to acknowledge Trump's contribution to finalizing the deal. Is that a joke? According to Reuters, the Trump team requests the resignation of 3 senior U.S. career diplomats. As indicated by sources, Musk is reportedly involved in efforts to secure the release of an Italian imprisoned in Iran. Aversive memories can be diminished during human sleep by reactivating positive interfering memories. Research indicates that consuming a daily glass of milk may reduce the risk of bowel cancer by 1/5. Studies suggest a connection between processed red meat and an increased risk of dementia. In the United States, Immigration and Customs Enforcement (ICE) documents indicate that the Biden administration strategies might allow Trump an advantage in initiating deportations. The special counsel's concluding report asserts that Trump would have faced conviction for election interference had he not secured victory. A poll conducted by the Associated Press and NORC Center for Public Affairs reveals that a limited number of U.S. adults are trusting in the Justice Department and FBI's ability to act impartially under Trump's leadership. Coca-Cola CEO offers Trump a commemorative Diet Coke bottle with an inauguration theme. TikTok CEO intends to be at Trump's inauguration, while former Presidents Obama, Clinton, and Bush will not join Trump for his inaugural lunch. According to a CNN poll, Biden departs office with his approval rating at its lowest point during his term, and a new poll indicates that Gaza was the top issue for Biden 2020 voters who did not support Harris. China has launched an investigation into U.S. chip grants and alleged dumping. Recently, the U.S. imposed blacklists on over 24 Chinese tech companies due to Huawei's use of TSMC chips in its System on Chip (SoC). Pete Hegseth, Trump's nominee for defense secretary, faced criticism after mistakenly referring to ASEAN as ASEAN, indicating he was unable to name the countries in the Southeast Asian bloc. Anduril, an AI military startup, is planning a $1 billion factory in Ohio. Plants take in 31% more carbon dioxide than earlier thought. Research on fish from the Great Barrier Reef indicates changes in significant global biodiversity trends. A study reveals unexpected connections among bird species during migration, with migrating birds singing to collaborate with others. Google has secured carbon removal credits from Indian farms in a significant transaction. A lawsuit in New York City against Exxon, BP, and Shell regarding climate change has been dismissed. UK farmland is experiencing contamination from forever chemicals associated with cancers, with RAF bases identified as hotspots for forever chemical groundwater pollution, according to MOD documents. Coinbase plans to provide loans secured by Bitcoin through Morpho. eToro, a retail trading platform, is seeking a U.S. IPO with a target valuation of $5 billion. Crypto pension funds are experiencing significant growth, coinciding with a 130% increase in Bitcoin's price. The Biden administration plans to allow Trump to enforce the TikTok ban. It has been reported that TikTok users are shifting to the Chinese app Red Note, causing concern among Beijing censors and discussions about selling a stake in Zaya Hongshu, a TikTok competitor, have valued it at $20 billion. In the EU, NOIB has submitted GDPR complaints against TikTok, AliExpress, Shein, Temu, WeChat, and Xiaomi for unauthorized data transfers to China. Mistral partners with Agence France Presse to provide current responses in LuChat. Mark Zuckerberg compares Meta's AI approach to YouTube's copyright rules. Google's Gemini Deep Research now supports 40 languages. Trump, Musk dined with Microsoft CEO at Mar-a-Lago. Biden warns oligarchy is taking shape in America in farewell address. As Biden cites threat from extreme wealth in farewell address. And in final address, Biden warns of rise of tech industrial complex, while outlining threats, challenges, German far-right co-leader to attend Trump inauguration, and Meloni-only EU leader invited to Trump's inauguration. Hong Kong's Jimmy Lai reportedly paid a former U.S. general to provide advice to the Taiwanese government, as stated in court. Additionally, Jimmy Lai acknowledged facilitating connections between Taiwan and former U.S. officials. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden has announced the extension of special status for Hong Kongers residing in the U.S. for an additional 2 years. Furthermore, a report indicates that Chinese hackers infiltrated over 400 Treasury Department computers. A U.S. court has imposed a $100 million fine on BitMEX due to anti-money laundering AML violations. Meanwhile, Jack Dorsey's company, Block, has committed to providing refunds amounting to up to $120 million to address fraud issues with Cash App. Additionally, there are reports suggesting that online gambling has contributed to transnational crime in the Philippines. Vietnam's extensive bureaucratic reform includes the elimination of a major television broadcaster. Jimmy Donaldson's Beast Game sets a record as Prime Video's most-watched unscripted series. David Lynch, the visionary director behind Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet, passes away at the age of 78. FTC prohibits GM from sharing driving data to resolve allegations of selling data without consent. FTC files lawsuit against Greystar, accusing the property manager of using concealed fees to deceive renters out of millions. Rio Tinto and Glencore considered a merger, but discussions are now inactive, according to a source. Nintendo's intellectual property manager acknowledges that an emulator itself is not inherently illegal, but its legality can change based on its usage. The Nintendo Switch 2 is scheduled for a 2025 release, with Mario Kart 9 being subtly announced alongside it. The Australian Open tennis tournament has substituted players with avatars reminiscent of Wii Sports to broadcast live matches, with these avatars aiding tennis in attracting a new audience. FBI alerts agents to hackers stealing call logs, according to Bloomberg News. Victims of the PowerSchool data breach report that hackers took all historical student and teacher data. Chinese hackers infiltrated Yellen's computer during a U.S. Treasury breach. Malaysia's police chief orders officers to lose excess body fat. Infestation of drug-addicted rats prompting purge of backlogged Houston evidence room. As TikTok refugees flock to Red Note, a U.S. official says the Chinese app could be banned too. India successfully completes its first space docking, joining the ranks of the fourth nation to reach this significant milestone. The European Space Agency's Gaia, which maps the Milky Way, has finished its sky scanning phase, accumulating over 3 trillion observations. During a flight test, SpaceX's Starship explodes, prompting airlines to reroute their flights. Apple launches online store app in India to extend focus beyond major cities. Let's Encrypt announces 6-day validity certificates. Adobe introduces Live co-editing feature to Photoshop, enabling creative collaborations. Germany plans to intercept drones in proximity to military installations. A Russian court sentences 3 attorneys representing the deceased Russian opposition figure Alexei Navalny to imprisonment. U.S. sanctions against Russia are impacting oil freight rates. Biden admits he focused too much on policy and not enough on politics, criticizing red states for mishandling their economies during the COVID years. Trump's official portrait has been likened to a mugshot. A Fox News poll indicates Trump is at his peak popularity, while an APNORC poll reveals many Americans are skeptical about his ability to reduce prices in his first year. Trump's nominee for Treasury Secretary opposes increasing the minimum wage. Additionally, Donald Trump's chosen Treasury official warns that reversing tax cuts could lead to an economic calamity, while emphasizing the significance of tax cuts for billionaires. Meanwhile, a Brazil court prevents Bolsonaro from attending Trump's inauguration. Furthermore, it is reportedly that Trump's threats of China tariffs are contributing to a manufacturing boom in Mexico. Sudan's military has reportedly deployed chemical weapons on 2 occasions, according to U.S. officials. Meanwhile, Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his wife have been sentenced to imprisonment in a corruption case. Additionally, the Iranian president has made his way to Moscow to sign a treaty with President Putin, as reported by TASS. In the United States, Democrats aim to prevent another transgender military ban initiated by Trump, with a House Democrat planning to introduce a bill opposing the ban. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has designated Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, and Jon Voight as special envoys to Hollywood. In the United Kingdom, Ofcom has announced that pornography websites must verify the age of their visitors. China reports a 5% economic growth last year, primarily fueled by exports. Meanwhile, China's population decreases for the third consecutive year, due to a declining birth rate. Additionally, China introduces the Crimson Skyblade in its pursuit of nuclear fusion for limitless clean energy. Lastly, China's Black Panther 2.0 robot dog achieves a speed of 100 meters in under 10 seconds. Live Nation organizes a fire aid benefit concert to support victims of the Los Angeles fires. Brian Eno, known for the Windows 95 startup sound, unveils a 20,000 pounds limited edition turntable 2 at the Paul Stolper Gallery. 90s superstar Aaliyah is celebrated with a Barbie doll on the anniversary of her 46th birthday. Spain revamps domestic violence system following criticism, with some noting, Spain is implementing AI for domestic violence risk assessment, and it's performing as predicted. Troubled Washington Post covertly preparing transition to AI-driven platform for news. Apple halts AI-generated news alert service following BBC dispute. Egypt has discovered archaeological treasures at the funerary complex of Queen Hatshepsut. Iron Age DNA research indicates that women were the dominant force in pre-Roman Britain, with scientists uncovering a Celtic society where men relocated to join their bride's community. A jaw fossil found in China suggests the existence of a palm-sized cat that lived 300,000 years ago, potentially being the world's smallest cat. A remarkable sword from the 6th century, adorned with runes, was discovered in an Anglo-Saxon burial site close to Canterbury in Kent. Following a volcanic eruption, the ancient Danes presented sunstones to the deities in hopes of restoring the light, as it is believed that ancient societies may have carved sunstones to alleviate volcanic winter. The World Monuments Fund has included the moon among its list of sites at risk. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition, January 15, 2025, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from January 3 to January 9, 2025. APT featuring Rose and Bruno Mars. Die with a Smile collaboration between Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. AJ Key rap by Madhu Banti Bakshi with Divya. Peelings by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from the Friday, January 3 to the Thursday, January 9, 2025. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. APT. By Rose and Bruno Mars, That's So True by Gracie Abrams, and Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. Nintendo US Digital Top Sellers starting January 13, 2025. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Minecraft, Nintendo Switch Sports, Stardew Valley, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 31, 2024, to Tuesday, January 7, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, PUBG Battlegrounds, Path of Exile 2, Marvel Rivals, Dota 2, Helldivers 2, Elden Ring. CISA's Cybersecurity Alerts and Advisories. CISA has issued the Cybersecurity Performance Goals Adoption Report. NovaSky AI Sky 1-32B Preview. This is a 32B reasoning model that has been trained using Qwen 2.5-32B. Instruct with a dataset of 17,000 items. Its performance matches that of the O1 preview model in both mathematics and coding. The development was carried out by the NovaSky team, which is part of the Sky Computing Lab at UC Berkeley. Mexico is providing financial incentives to remove firearms from circulation, offering $1,200 for an AK-47 rifle and $1,300 for a machine gun. Venezuelan President Maduro has stated that he is collaborating with Cuba and Nicaragua to be ready to take up arms should there be an intervention, prompting Puerto Rico to seek assistance from Trump following Maduro's threat of invasion. The FBI has successfully removed Chinese PlugX malware from numerous Windows computers across the United States. Gallup reports a decline in approval of U.S. leadership among NATO members, despite an improvement in the U.S. image under Biden. Biden reveals that the upcoming aircraft carriers will be named Clinton and Bush. U.S. House Republicans are looking for backing on a bill regarding a potential purchase of Greenland, as part of Trump's plan. Researchers have made SkyT1, a reasoning AI model, available for free, allowing it to be trained for under $450. Mastodon is moving to a non-profit organization. OpenAI's AI reasoning model occasionally operates in Chinese, and the reason for this is unclear. Hamas has approved a draft agreement for a ceasefire in Gaza and the release of certain hostages, according to officials. Sources indicate that Israel and Hamas have reached an agreement in principle regarding the ceasefire and hostage exchange. Recently, Turkey's intelligence chief and Hamas officials have been discussing efforts for a Gaza ceasefire, as reported by a Turkish source. In the first phase of the emerging Israel-Hamas deal, 33 hostages are expected to be released, and Palestinians will be allowed to return to North Gaza. A Palestinian official informed the BBC, as the Gaza ceasefire agreement is being finalized. Oscar nominations postponed due to wildfires, while Grammys and Sundance proceed as planned. Saudi Arabia reportedly close to a $1 billion investment in DAZN. Ms. Rachel to make her Netflix debut with 4 episodes available for streaming in January. J&J plans to acquire Intracellular, a developer of psychiatric drugs, for a total of $14.6 billion. Eli Lilly's CEO anticipates that their new weight loss pill will receive approval in the coming year. According to a study, it is projected that 1 million adults in the United States will be diagnosed with dementia annually by the year 2060. Mantra and Damick agree to a $1 billion deal to digitize Middle Eastern assets. The SEC accuses Robinhood of securities violations, resulting in a $45 million penalty for the brokerage. U.S. judges urge the SEC to clarify its reasons for denying requests to establish cryptocurrency regulations. The Biden administration has introduced rules to oversee the global expansion of artificial intelligence. Additionally, Biden has announced the final set of AI chip export restrictions targeting China and Russia. For days prior, NVIDIA expressed disapproval of the reported Biden plan for AI chip export curbs. As part of Biden's comprehensive new AI export controls, most of the world is now covered. NVIDIA criticized Biden's new AI restrictions as misguided and commended Trump's laissez-faire approach to the tech industry. Meanwhile, OpenAI has unveiled its favored version of AI regulation in a new blueprint. Judge authorizes the release of Special Counsel Smith's report on Trump's 2020 election case. Trump raises the U.S. flag to full height before concluding the 30-day mourning period after Carter's passing. Carrie Underwood is scheduled to perform at Trump's inauguration. Zuckerberg debuts Real Mark in push to woo Trump. Kalsher names Donald Trump Jr. as strategic advisor to prediction market firm. OpenAI courts Trump with vision for AI in America. Chipmakers have reduced their investment plans by $9.5 billion due to the decline in smartphone and electric vehicle markets. In Northern Ireland and Britain, artificial intelligence will be subject to distinct regulatory frameworks. DJI has decided to discontinue the practice of preventing drones from flying over airports, wildfires, and the White House. Quantum engineers have successfully constructed a Schrödinger's cat within a silicon chip. Physicists have introduced the concept of paraparticles, which are unusual entities that resist conventional classification. The growing application of AI is associated with a decline in critical thinking abilities. Aquifer with a volume half that of Lake Tahoe discovered beneath the Central Oregon Cascades. Kazakhstan raises the water levels in the North Aral Sea by 42%. Chemicals in sewage sludge fertilizer used on farms may pose a cancer risk, according to the EPA. Microsoft has established a new AI engineering team, with a former Meta executive at the helm. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg has expressed that AI might soon handle the tasks of Meta's mid-level engineers. Additionally, Adobe's Firefly feature, known as Bulk Create, enables users to modify thousands of images simultaneously. TikTok labels the claim that China is considering selling the app to Elon Musk as pure fiction. Bloomberg mentioned that China is discussing the sale of TikTok's U.S. operations to Musk as a potential option. Meanwhile, Xiaohongshu, also known as Red Note, which is China's equivalent to Instagram, has reached the top position on the App Store as TikTok confronts the possibility of a U.S. shutdown. Additionally, TikTok is making arrangements for a swift closure in the United States on Sunday. Supreme Court to consider laws in Texas and 18 other states mandating age verification for online access to adult content. SEC files a lawsuit against Elon Musk, accusing him of inadequate disclosure of Twitter ownership, with claims that Musk profited over $150 million by postponing the disclosure of his Twitter stake. FDA suggests a requirement for at-a-glance nutrition information to be displayed prominently on the front of packaged foods. Wall Street Journal highlights that children are increasingly using a mental health chatbot to express their anxieties. NVIDIA collaborates with Illumina and Mayo Clinic to advance its health initiatives. OpenAI discreetly updates its policy document to eliminate the mention of politically unbiased AI. Queen Elizabeth II was unaware of the Soviet spy present in her palace, as revealed by declassified MI5 documents. South Korea's impeached President Yoon has been taken into custody following a significant law enforcement operation. A Davos survey identifies conflict, extreme weather, and disinformation as the leading global risks for 2025. EU evaluates its investigations into Apple, Google, and Meta's technology practices. UK regulatory authority declares Google holds strategic market status and initiates an inquiry into its search dominance. Venezuela removes the ban on Telegram, yet internet restrictions persist. Tether, a stablecoin issuer, plans to set up its headquarters in El Salvador and move some of its operations there. Meanwhile, in the United States, the CFTC is examining Crypto.com's Super Bowl contracts and is looking to temporarily halt them. Additionally, Hui1, the organization responsible for the biggest illicit online marketplace, has introduced a stablecoin. Sony introduces the Sonium mainnet, enhancing Ethereum Layer 2 for entertainment purposes. The Telegram-associated TON blockchain is set to grow in the U.S. as Trump shows interest in cryptocurrency. Vanguard's CEO argues that Bitcoin ETFs should not be part of a long-term investment portfolio. Meta plans to reduce its workforce by approximately 5%, focusing on the least performing employees. Klarna has secured a worldwide payment agreement with Stripe to broaden its market presence in anticipation of a major U.S. IPO. Indian IT outsourcing companies are hoping for a boost from Trump to improve their prospects. Mai from Fatal Fury is now part of Street Fighter VI. The recent update for Marvel Rivals has turned off mod functionality. Diamond Comics, the leading distributor in the industry, has declared bankruptcy. Over the last 2 decades, the U.S. has imported billions of wild animals. Trump announces intention to establish an external revenue service for gathering income from international entities. Spain's proposal to impose a 100% tax on property purchases by non-EU citizens faces significant challenges in parliamentary approval. Iraq's prime minister indicates willingness to sign a security agreement with the United Kingdom. U.S. alleges Capital One deceived savings account holders, depriving them of $2 billion in interest. North Korea allegedly conducted over $659 million in cryptocurrency heists in 2024, using fake job seekers. Falcon 9 successfully launches commercial lunar landers from the United States and Japan. Israel's Genesis Prize has been awarded to Argentinian President Javier Milei, the winner of the 2025 Jewish Nobel Prize. Meanwhile, Blinken has stated that new Hamas recruits have nearly compensated for the losses incurred during the war. Additionally, Saudi Arabia is hosting an Arab International meeting on Syria, where ministers from 17 countries are convening to discuss expediting aid to Damascus. Saudi Arabia is advocating for the relief of Syria's sanctions during these talks with regional and EU diplomats, as well as EU foreign ministers, who are expected to address the issue at the end of the month. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State nominee, to argue that China cheated and hacked its way to global superpower status at hearing. Biden relaxes restrictions on Cuba ahead of Trump inauguration, and Cuba to free over 550 prisoners after removal from U.S. terror list. NATO launches new naval operation in Baltic Sea after severing of cables. U.S. deaths likely to surpass births in the next 10 years. Activating the hypothalamus helps paralyzed patients regain walking. The U.S. House approves a bill restricting trans women's involvement in sports. Starbucks changes its open-door policy, now mandating a purchase for those wishing to remain. Intel plans to separate its venture capital division as part of ongoing restructuring efforts. Apple becomes part of the UA-Link group, aiming to challenge NVIDIA's leadership in AI hardware. In the United States, Representative Roy has put forth a bill once more aimed at stopping members of Congress from engaging in stock trading. Meanwhile, Robinhood's broker-dealers are set to pay a total of $45 million in penalties for breaching certain provisions of securities law. Additionally, IKEA's investment division plans to allocate €1 billion to companies focused on recycling. Harris does not extend an invitation to Vance for a courtesy visit to the vice president's residence prior to the inauguration. Iran's president informs NBC News that Iran never planned to assassinate Trump during the campaign. Speaker Johnson directs that Capitol Hill flags be raised in anticipation of Trump inauguration. The United States has completed a rule prohibiting smart cars equipped with technology from Russia and China. Additionally, data from an association indicates that China's vehicle export growth is anticipated to decelerate in 2025. Meanwhile, oil prices have risen by 2% to reach a 4-month high, with sanctions expected to interfere with Russian supplies. Furthermore, Alberta's premier has issued a warning that Trump's tariffs are imminent and will encompass oil. China's electric car boom is projected to slow down in 2025. Get your daily news fix with NewsSourceScrawler's latest edition, January 13, 2025, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from January 3 to January 9, 2025. APT featuring Rose and Bruno Mars. Die with a Smile collaboration between Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. AJ Key rap by Madhu Banti Bakshi with Divya. Peelings by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify Weekly Top Songs Global, spanning from the Friday, January 3 to the Thursday, January 9, 2025. Die with a Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. APT. By Rose and Bruno Mars, That's So True by Gracie Abrams, and Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. Nintendo US Digital Top Sellers starting January 13, 2025. Super Mario Party Jamboree, Minecraft, Nintendo Switch Sports, Stardew Valley, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 31, 2024, to Tuesday, January 7, 2025. Counter-Strike 2, PUBG Battlegrounds, Path of Exile 2, Marvel Rivals, Dota 2, Helldivers 2, Elden Ring. CISA's Cybersecurity Alerts and Advisories. CISA has issued the Cybersecurity Performance Goals Adoption Report. Nova Sky AI Sky 1-32B Preview. This is a 32B reasoning model that has been trained using Qwen 2.5-32B. Instruct with a dataset of 17,000 items. Its performance matches that of the O1 preview model in both mathematics and coding. The development was carried out by the Nova Sky team, which is part of the Sky Computing Lab at UC Berkeley. Zuckerberg believes that the majority of companies require an increase in masculine energy. Additionally, he has advised Trump to take action to prevent the EU from imposing fines on U.S. tech companies. Steve Bannon has declared his willingness to do anything to prevent Elon Musk from entering the White House. 10 days prior, he issued a warning to Elon Musk stating, "We're going to rip your face off in the visa dispute." 2 weeks ago, Bannon's outburst describing Elon Musk as a toddler exposed the internal conflict within MAGA. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney criticized tech leaders for pretending to be Republicans to curry favor with Trump, avoid antitrust regulations, and ultimately exploit consumers and eliminate competitors. Iran conducts military exercises amid increasing economic challenges and the anticipated return of Trump. Trump's envoy for Ukraine participates in an Iranian opposition gathering in Paris, advocating for the global reimposition of maximum pressure on Iran. Denmark communicated privately with Trump's team regarding Greenland, while a poll indicates that a majority of Greenland's residents favor becoming part of the United States. Russian mercenary apprehended with drone near U.S.-Mexico border. Wagner mercenary who crossed was celebrated in Russia weeks prior to arrest. Germany establishes a military division focused on territorial defense. Ukraine interrogates 2 North Korean soldiers captured in Kursk, according to Zelensky. Mexico and Canada dispatch firefighters to assist in combating the Los Angeles fires. Gavin Newsom announces the suspension of significant environmental laws to facilitate rebuilding in wildfire areas, expressing his vision for reimagining LA 2.0 and calling for a Marshall Plan for California's recovery. Mayotte is once again on red alert as a cyclone approaches the French territory off Africa. Sony and Crunchyroll have officially announced an anime adaptation of Ghost of Tsushima. Abel Tesfaye, known as The Weeknd, is contemplating retirement of the Weeknd name. Iris Apfel's maximalist art and design collection is set to be auctioned. Experts suggest that space junk cleanup should use a strategy similar to ocean conservation. The MCAM, one of ESA/JAXA, has unveiled Mercury's shadowy North Pole. During the Australian Open, Emma Raducanu was bitten by jumping ants. Additionally, Raducanu's ultra-cautious approach highlights increasing concerns about doping in tennis, and she withdrew from the Australian Open warm-up due to a back injury. Starlink is now cheaper than leading internet provider in some African countries. Europe's largest pension fund sold Tesla stake over Musk's pay. Steve Bannon condemns Elon Musk as racist and truly evil. Malaysia anticipates a significant increase in Chinese investment, according to the economy minister. 3 days prior, Malaysia is striving to establish itself as a center for energy and chip manufacturing, as stated by the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, a Dutch university supported by ASML has halted classes following a cyber attack. Furthermore, it is reportedly that Britain is aiming to develop a domestic competitor to OpenAI in an effort to lead the world in artificial intelligence. Video games enhance children's intelligence, according to research. Engaging in a solitary 1-hour daily walk may extend your lifespan by 6 hours. The compound 2-deoxyderibose promotes hair regrowth in a mouse model of androgenic alopecia. Jack Smith, the special counsel who oversaw the prosecutions against Trump, has resigned from the Department of Justice. Trump criticized Smith, calling him a disgrace, and claiming he left town empty-handed. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris posted a photo of presidents at Jimmy Carter's funeral, notably excluding Trump. Additionally, Vance stated that individuals who committed violence on January 6 obviously should not receive a pardon. President Biden bestows the Presidential Medal of Freedom with distinction upon Pope Francis. The United States descends to the 9th position in the world's most powerful passport index, a stark contrast to 2014 when it held the top spot. Currently, Singapore's passport is the most powerful. Recently declassified CIA mind control documents have sparked concern regarding the current psychedelic drug surge. UK court refuses access to $740 million Bitcoin hard drive buried in Welsh landfill. Enron resurfaces with a comical nuclear egg parody satirizing tech debuts, causing Enron's revival to provoke ire among former employees, while Enron's CEO justifies the parody egg reactor, discusses brand rejuvenation, and hints at a potential crypto future. Thailand's cabinet endorses a draft law to authorize casinos and gambling. Apple's £1.5 billion class action case begins in UK courts. 3 years prior, Apple faced a £1.5 billion group action regarding App Store charges. Amazon Prime will discontinue its clothing try-on program. JP Morgan's return-to-office mandate has sparked internal criticism, leading to the disabling of employee comments after backlash. Lung stem cell aging leads to iron deficiency and decreases tumor formation ability. In 13% of dementia cases, cognitive decline might be due to cirrhosis. A study reveals that alcohol increases colorectal cancer risk, whereas calcium offers protection. The United Kingdom has committed to significantly enhancing its computing capabilities to support the growth of its artificial intelligence industry. Meanwhile, UK companies are opting to invest in AI rather than hiring additional staff due to increasing costs. In Asia, Microsoft is conducting tests on potential 45% price increases for M365 to ensure that customers can benefit from AI advancements. Additionally, job losses on Wall Street may exceed 200,000 as AI begins to take over certain roles. Gurman discusses Apple's 2025 strategy, including a major iPhone revamp, advancements in the smart home sector, and efforts to catch up in AI. Analyst claims Apple's intelligence initiatives are not enhancing iPhone sales. The smartphone market is expected to rebound in 2024 following 2 years of decline. Biden had a conversation with Netanyahu, according to Sullivan, who mentioned that a hostage agreement is nearing completion. The president of South Korea will not be present at the initial hearing of his impeachment trial due to safety worries. Meta's new approach to free speech has raised concerns among advertisers. The British Army is testing radio waves to disable drones. The U.S. faces potential electronic warfare with China after revealing its anti-satellite jammer network. 2 months ago, concerns were raised about America being vulnerable to significant GPS jamming and spoofing from space. Chinese scientists have modeled the hunting of Starlink satellites in orbit. Reuters indicates that a U.S. investigation has discovered China's unfair dominance in the shipbuilding industry, which could lead to penalties. China's trade surplus reaches $992 billion, driven by a rise in pre-Trump exports. In an effort to strengthen the Chinese yuan, the central bank has simplified the process for companies to obtain additional foreign debt. Chinese rice has improved in taste and appearance over the past 16 years, according to a research team. Life can evolve in various directions, including backward, as demonstrated by ferns, which can revert to earlier evolutionary stages, challenging the common belief about life's progression. 4 lynx have been illegally released into the Scottish Highlands, with officials suspecting guerrilla rewilding as the cause. Unfortunately,